I ate an entire box of chocolates. I shouldn't have, but I did it anyway, because I don't give a fuck. But I should give a fuck. That's the problem. The problem is that I don't give a fuck, when really I should absolutely give a fuck. I bought myself just a box of chocolates. Just fancied a fucking box of chocolates, and if I treat myself. I deserve a treat now and then. I'm a winner. I'm a champion. Does a champion not deserve a treat now and then? Huh? Huh? So I got a box of chocolates, and I sat there eating the whole fucking thing. I was playing Fallout 4. Because there was a whole thing where, because Sam bought me Fallout 4 at a Game of the Year edition that came with all the DLCs, and then we were installing the game. It took, a good amount of time to install, and we got it all there, whatever. I played a little bit of it. I just played the base game while I was at his, and then I spent most of the time playing Skyrim and stuff, and other games. We play a whole bunch of shit. And then I get home, and I realise it doesn't have any of the DLCs. None of it's fucking installed. So I didn't know what to do for the longest time, until very, very recently, literally this past week. This is all very important and relevant and interesting, of course. And then I realised I had them all. They were available to me. I had to install each of the DLCs individually. See, with Skyrim Game of the Year edition, you install it and it's all there. It's all in one thing. Fallout 4 apparently not. So I did that. Which means I now have access to all the DLCs. So I've been spending a little bit of time sort of going through some of that, playing some of those fun things. Which again is not really relevant or important or doesn't matter at all. But that's just what I was. So I was eating a whole box of chocolates while playing Fallout 4. Of course, what the fuck else am I going to spend my time doing? But I shouldn't have eaten the whole box of chocolates. I shouldn't have. I'm in my mid-30s now. 35, if anyone cares about me. And I shouldn't eat a whole box of chocolates. I just shouldn't. I just fucking shouldn't. You could be like, treat yourself, and this and that, whatever. Yeah, you gotta treat yourself and be good to yourself. Shouldn't eat an entire box of chocolates. Just don't. Gotta not do that. Have to not eat an entire fucking box of chocolates. Did I say hot chocolates? If I said a box of hot chocolates, then I apologise. I didn't mean to say that. But irregardless, that's what stupid people say. I shouldn't have eaten the whole. But that's been my day. Hi, how are you? Do you know what? I was at a post office recently, and I discovered a perfect example, or not an example, just a reason to wear a mask often. And it's actually probably a reason to wear a mask. Because, everyone gets, you shouldn't have to wear a mask. It's controlling, it's taking away our freedom, our rights. You just wear the fucking mask. But, so I discovered a reason to wear a mask. Just in general, it's just good to wear a mask. Keeps it safe, keeps it, clean and germ-free. But this was a reason I discovered to wear a mask. It's probably why it's best to wear a mask just all the time, just in general, regardless of, if there's a pandemic or not. You should just... there's pollution and shit. There's all kinds of reasons. But this was one particular reason. So I was at the post office, I should write a little book, shouldn't I, about my post office day. There was so many funny little stories at the post office. And there was a guy who was yelling, and maybe you had to be there, but and so they have the window, or the post office workers, the clerks are behind I think we call them Clarks over here. It's spelt the same. It's spelt Clerks, but we pronounce it Clarks for some reason. They're behind glass, and then there's a little like drawer, and you slip your shit through the drawer. Whoa, my Xbox just turned on its own. Magical! I just heard a little boodly in the corner of my room. That's really disconcerting. I should probably turn it off, but I can't be fucked. I'm busy. I'm telling my important post office story. So you've got the post office, the glass, and the person behind the glass. And the person's doing my international post, which now I have to do at the desk. I can't do it on the self-service machine. It's very irritating. It takes a very long time. But they were sorting out all this stuff. And I was just stood there sort of like zoning out. And it was one of those moments where like you realise you're not looking through the glass, you're looking at the glass. And I was looking at the glass and I realised it was fucking covered in like speckles. Very, very similar to how like a bathroom mirror is, how it looks when it's covered in like toothpaste spatter and stuff. And yeah, it looked like that. The glass of the post office just, you know, it wasn't as I guess colourful as you know a bathroom mirror might be, but there was a great deal of like speckles of spatter of stuff on this glass at the post office, and I realised very quickly that's just people, that's just fucking spit from just people at the post office on a daily basis, probably built up over years and years. Because how often do they really think to clean the glass at the post office? They should clean it very, very often. Really, it's a public-facing, you know, thing. They should keep it fucking clean. Evidently, they don't. Or maybe they do keep it regularly clean. It builds up that much in that short space of time. I've got not necessarily a strong stomach as such, but I'm not really put off by too many like icky, filthy, horrible things. I'm filthy and horrible. That's what I do. It's part of my brand, kind of, but not really, but kind of. And this, so I wasn't really put off by this, but it did certainly give me like pause for thought. I did stop and think like, oh, that's a lot of fucking just like people juice, just fucking human garbage, human gunk spat onto this, like just spat. It was like a freckled, an Irish or Scottish ginger person's face, just fucking freckled, speckled all over this glass of just people standing at the post office going, can I post this to fucking Peru, please? Can I please post this to Peru? I need to change my money to fucking Peruvian dollars. I'd like euros, please. And they just fucking spit all over this glass. And that made me think, yeah, we should probably just wear masks all the time, because that's what's coming out of people. You can complain, so, it's freedom of whatever, it's taking infringing upon our rights, we shouldn't have to wear a mask. But that's what's coming off of people. And then why would you want to subjugate? I don't know what the fuck that word means. Why would you want to subject yourself? Subjugate. Oh, I spelt it right. Being under domination or control, especially by conquest. Make someone or something subordinate to. I guess. No, yeah, you are being subjected to it rather than subjugated to it. But irregardless, it's fucking disgusting. It's the sort of thing that, like, you know, I look at and go, oh, that's kind of icky, whatever. But most people who have like a basic sense of decency and cleanliness and decorum would look at that and say, that's fucking disgusting. How can you allow that to just be a thing? That fucking just spittle all over the fucking post office. All over the fucking post office. What are we drawing today? Well, I'm glad you didn't ask. I I'm redoing. I don't know if I mentioned that I'm going to, but I've decided I am going to. I'm redoing my We Hit Cops with Judo Chops. Um, After the Cold Vein and Doomsday, we don't need no pop. Revolution, we hit cops with judo chops. And all you see is red, black and green. No, I'm down for my team. They killed Radio Raheem. Now I wanna smoke up, blow off some steam. Open my mouth like Godzilla. And all you see is light beams. This rap shit ain't all that it seems. You can leave it to the super friends to spill the beans. I just spat as I was saying that. Talking of spitting sick lyrics, rhymes, and all kinds of. Do you know what's really difficult to draw? Is a hand like this, like coming at you in your mouth. Choking you with your fingers in your mouth while it fucks you from behind. That's what this is supposed to be. It's not brilliantly done, but I mean you get the point, don't you? Is Vast Air and MF Doom on the song "The Super Friends"? I'm sure it appeared. I think it counts as a Vast Air song rather than an MF Doom song. I think it's Vast Air featuring MF Doom. I believe that to be the case. I could be wrong because I don't fucking know shit, do I? I think because we were looking for it on Spotify when I was with Sam. I was like, I'll play this song, this MF Doom track, and we couldn't find it. But until we were looking at Vast Air, who is one half of Cannibal Ox, who's really, really good. Cannibal Ox are good. Vordal Mega is the other half of Cannibal Ox. Is okay. He's like sort of, like I say about a lot of comic book artists, they're very good artists, but their stuff doesn't like jump out and make you want to like go and get their fucking comics. And to me, Vordal Mega is sort of a rapper kind of like that, where like his stuff isn't mind blowing, it's not outstanding necessarily, but it's good. But then, of course, you get Vast Air on the mic, and he's very, very good. In terms of wordplay, also, I think a lot of it comes down to like my enjoyment of a lot of music in general, especially hip hop, is literally the sound of the person's voice that I'm listening to. So MF Doom, I like his deep, raspy voice, especially when he gets like really raspy and almost aggressive with it. I really like his voice. And Vast Air has a voice like that as well. And not that he has a voice like MF Doom's, but he has a voice that I like to listen to. It's got a good sound to his voice that I like to listen to. I like to hear it doing its raps. And that's... So this is Vast Air, and there's MF Doom in the background. This is just a doodle. It's just a rough sketchy wetch. So he's hitting this cop in the tummy with a judo chop. Yeah. His thumb and his fingers. Yeah, swish. And he hit him in the tummy. His arms going out, and he's all like discombobulated. Ugh. And he's like knocked the wind out of him, and then his feet will go like here or whatever. Although I guess if his body's here. Oh yeah, his foot should be there, and that's why it's just a doodle because I'm just figuring shit out. I don't know because they should be like New York policemen's because they're from that sort of area, East Coast. NYPD, that's it, isn't it? NYPD. I don't like to look up images of police. What am I going to find them beating up black people? See, because that's what they do. They just beat up black people because they're all bastards. Literally all of them. All bastards. Oh no, but they're not all bad. You get some good. You're part of a system that is inherently evil. Well, not all the Nazis were bad. Yeah, but they were Nazis. So, are you equating police to Nazis? Yes, because they're made by the people in charge to protect the people in charge. They're not for your benefit. So yeah, I figure I should draw them like NYPD officers getting the shit chopped out of them with judo. Shall I give him like the typical sort of short back and sides Nazi haircut that they've all lovingly got now? It's not a brilliantly drawn face, but you know, it's whatever, innit? Doesn't matter. Fast air. See if I can get even remotely a likeness of him. See, he's a fairly chunky fella. He's got some chunk to him. He's got actually quite like a smallish mouth, like a bigger bottom lip. No, that doesn't look like him at all. He's got quite kind of like a pug nose, kind of, and little eyes. That doesn't look like Vast. It looks like a giant baby, doesn't it? It's funny. Vast hair looks like a giant baby. A little bit of facial hair, just a touch, just a little like goatee kind of thing. It looks Chinese now. Jesus. Well, that's again. It's just a doodle. I'm just figuring shit out. I mean, really, I need to sort of like, you know, take a separate page and figure out, because I do want to do a decent, like, a solid, like, black and white ink drawing with some background to it, some ground and some buildings in the background of, you know, like Vast Air here, MF Doom here, and then the lyrics, we hit cops with judo chops. A cop here dying, a cop here dying, and then Vast Air and MF Doom. It's got MF Doom giving the chop downwards onto a cop. And then his article of clothing. And I want to put him in like almost stereotypical, where he's got his hood up and he's got like a red puffy like windbreaker, not windbreaker, like a, you know, a puffy vest sort of thing going on. You know what I'm talking about. You can't. You fuck. I have his bottom lip sticking out. Because you see that in some of the pictures of him and videos and things, where he's got his mask and then his like bottom lip sort of like protrudes from underneath the mask, and I like it. It looks fun, not funny. I'm not making fun of his bottom lip sticking out. It looks visually good, aesthetically pleasing. I like to draw it. It's good. Yeah. And then he's hitting down into the cop's head, and his eyes are like this, and then that's his tongue going. Maybe some teeth flying off. And then his stupid cop clothes and his like belt with his gun and his taser that he thinks he's grabbing his taser, but he actually grabs his gun and shoots a child with it. They're brilliant, aren't they? The police. They're so cool. I love them so much. I'd love to be a policeman one day. Can you imagine how cool? Because you obviously don't need any decent training or anything. You just become a policeman, and then it's like, oh, do what I want now because I'm a fucking policeman. Fuck you. Ooh. That's how the system works, dude. Right, this, okay, a bit of a different one now. If it works, so I'm screen recording a video that I stole. I stole this video from the Super Annie YouTube page. I guess it was the last book released of Kim Jung-gi's work prior to his sudden and untimely death. which is very, very sad, of course. I think I'd meant to like do a video looking at this a while ago, but then never got around to it. But I have seen online they are, it seems, putting together like a Kim Jung-gi museum. I guess similar to how there's like a Van Gogh museum of just his artwork in there. It looks like they're doing that with Kim Jung-gi, which I think is really, really cool. It like a really cool thing to do, to like have somewhere, almost, I assume permanently, to display his work. And he's got so much work that you can have an almost constant sort of revolving exhibition of his pieces. So I'm really excited to see what comes of that. Hopefully they'll do sort of at least somewhat decent video walkthroughs where you can get a look at what's going on in there. Because I'll assume it's in Korea, which isn't exactly easy to get to. I can't just hop on a train to fucking Korea, can I? And even if I could, it would be fucking thousands of pounds. Train tickets these days. And so I thought, I'd just this is an art book, so let's fucking look at the art book. He took his time opening the damn thing. There was a cool portrait in there of him. So hurry up and turn the pages, you bastard. Oh, straight away. Oh, I like his ladies with his robot bits. Weird handguns. This may be one where I cut it into two and then I'll do half this week and half next week, because the video of this that I've got is roughly 10 minutes. And with me stopping every now and then on every single page, it'll probably take 4 hours to get through. I like the pandas. I mean, it's so obvious, but I love his anthropomorphized, like, animal people he does. Especially when they got fucking guns and shit. Because I'm certainly not part of the furry community, but I do have a good amount of friends in that sort of community. So a lot of times if I see anthropomorphized animal people, I guess I don't need to use the word people in there, do I? But if I see anthropomorphized animals, they're very sort of like furry, so they're very, very stylized, often sexualized. So it's cool to see them, you know, anthropomorphized animals done in such a way that is just cool and fun, as opposed to horny. The fucking cars, man. There's a handful of shit I can draw off the top of my head in great detail because I've seen it often enough, but nothing on the level of a fucking engine, like a car engine with all its fucking bits and pieces and shit. I like the pages that have like different coloured inks on. That's quite cool to see. The funny shapes and caricatures and stuff. It's all very, very cool. And then when he draws animals, because you can draw like a dog in a weird position like this, and you can have it look just trash. And these drawings aren't anything special necessarily, but he's so good at drawing dogs that even when he draws them, or animals and everything in general, that even when he's drawing it just silly little cartoony doodle, it works. I guess I like this skull flower head dress thing. That's pretty neat. And the rest of it's okay too, I guess. Oh, he's being eaten. He's been savaged by dogs and lions and cats. Oh my. It's difficult to say anything other than fucking wow. Look at all this shit. Knowing, because you've all seen videos of him drawing where he just sits and draws this shit in minutes, basically. I like that. That was drawn during one of his streams. It's like his manager, I forget the guy's name. Hyun Jin or something. And it's like him, and then him a bit sexier, and then him really. I think it's Morrigan or something, the character, but fucking whatever. Some superheroes. It's the Avengers, innit? Thanos. And it's like it's funny and cartoony. Like the proportions of Thanos are really sort of like silly and cartoony, but drawn so well that it looks really fucking good. Like if that was just in the comic, you'd completely accept it. I do like these style of drawings he does with more washes as opposed to line art. But for me, personally, I have to say something negative, don't I? He's dead. I'll say what I want. There's something about it where like the shading is too fractured, if that makes sense. Where there's like spots of shadow everywhere. Where I think I prefer it almost like, for instance, Mignola, where he does like large chunks of shadow and then highlighted parts with, line work and hatching and stuff. Whereas this, it's just like shadows here, shadows there, shadows here and there and everywhere. And then the washes, they work, but they're incredible drawings, and I couldn't match that level if I tried. Yeah, I probably could. But of Kim Young-gi's stuff that he does, he does have a few sort of different styles almost. That is not my favourite of his. If I'm going to say anything, I don't fucking know. Bang, 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 bang. Cowboys are good. I really like when he draws himself. He's clearly like, he knows he's good. He knows he can fucking draw. And he probably knows he's a decent enough guy, and he's sort of cool and funny. But he's very almost self-deprecating about himself, or very often self-deprecating about himself. But I like when he draws himself like, because it looks exactly like, you can tell it's him right away. You don't have to be like, oh, I think that's a drawing of himself. It's like, it's obviously him. But like, it's silly and it's goofy and it might look dumb, but it's really well done. And it's just fucking some cool Batmans. I love the proportions. I love the chunky legs with the little feet. Those are really pleasing to look at. Cars, always, every time. I guess like the old school Batmobile, and then the newer Nolan Batmobile. The lighting on that head is really impressive. Like, it's such a small drawing, and it might be really easy to just sort of pass over. Like, the yellow glow he's added to the side is cool enough. It's one of those things, I guess, you do something so well that you don't even really notice it's there. Where if something's done badly, it stands out. But if something's done really well, it blends in so well that you don't even notice it. More of these. Like, yeah, they're great drawings, but, they're all splotchy, and it's sort of, I think, for me, line art sort of weighs the image down in a good way. Not that, it makes the image too heavy or whatever, but it sort of anchors it almost. Whereas art that's more like this, for me, loses focus on like how it feels almost. And that's my personal, like, how it feels to me to look at these kinds of images. They're very, very good, of course, but they don't feel as pleasing as stuff like this, where it's more line art and the shading is more I don't know, more solid, maybe. Avengers on here, and then this is, I guess, Guardians of the Galaxy. I like the Rocket Raccoon. That's really, really cool. Star-Lord. I always thought Star-Lord was kind of boring, but he's just human, isn't he? Who's this guy? I like this character. He looks like a bunch of fun. More hero. I like these. These are the little drawings. That's a fucking cool Doom, of course, but anytime he draws something, it's going to be a fucking cool version of it. I think these are like big commissions he did on stream. I caught a few of his streams live, actually, that he did on YouTube. I even asked a question in one of them and it got answered. That was pretty fun. And this stuff's just ridiculously impressive. But I have said before, it gets a little bit like it's almost a bit too much going on. Can't quite see what's what. But that's almost the fun of it, is the longer you look at it, the more stuff you see. And if nothing else, it's ridiculously impressive as a feat of drawing. It's just insane that a person can just sit and do that. I love the shapes in this. It's some alien thing, I guess. It's got like almost a scuba mask spacesuit thing going on. Little arms here, almost like the bugs in District 9. And then funny little alien head, and just the shape of the body is really funny. Little arms here too. And all was this like a camera or something, and the oxygen tanks. That's really, really fun. Some cowboys and shit, wagons and horses. I mean, drawing a horse is, difficult enough. Unless, you're a good artist like myself, I can draw horses easily. I just choose not to, because, how often do horses fucking appear in my art? They're not relevant to what I do. But then drawing them like at all these different angles, and that each one is in a different position with its legs in different positions. Like none of the horses in that drawing are like copy pasted or whatever. They're all fucking different. Quite a lot of cowboys in this book. That's kind of cool. I like some cowboys now and again. I go through phases, cowboy phases, whenever I'm like playing Red Dead Redemption or watching Deadwood. Often I do those at the same time, because if I'm partaking in one, I will be like, if I'm playing Red Dead Redemption, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to watch Deadwood. If I'm watching Deadwood, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to play Red Dead. And then I start to think like, oh, I should draw cowboys, yeah. And then I'll do like 2 doodles and give up and start drawing fucking superheroes with guns or whatever. I like this guy in his funny little outfit. It's those funny cartoons he draws, just silly little cartoon people. But they're really fucking good, because it's based on like solid knowledge of anatomy and light and shadow and how to draw a picture and structure and shit. And then the face, the really serious face with the silly body. And, the detailed guns and everything. Is such a good mix. It works so well together. I love those the little funny little cartoons. This is cool. Guns. Might have to steal that pose. That's quite a cool one. I could jack the body up, make it a big muscly Viking with a gun. I could. I might not. I probably won't. These are fun. Just really cool pages. This is like what I was saying, looking at my old sketchbook, where like just the pages look kind of fun with all just the random shit going on. It looks like this might have been something along the lines of one of his like classes, talking about perspective and drawing something like this, and then the same thing from above and whatever. Because I've seen him do that where he talks about like drawing a cup from different angles and stuff. So it might be something along those lines. And then just with a whole bunch of shit. These crazy like lions and things in the cups. I love the lines he's used to draw them, and then the bodies, the shapes, and the creases and wrinkles and the fleshiness of them all. I like this guy, the funny little cartoon bunny suit man. It's really funny. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, you can draw a lot of stuff. We get it. Christ. Oh yeah, good artist. Fucking well. We know! We all bloody know. Yeah, alright, turn the page already. Jesus. And they are good drawings, though. Speaking of good, there's some more good drawings. More cowboy shit. I like the yellow. He does that every now and again in some of his more recent work, like black and white drawings with a yellow part to them. I think it's a very effective thing to do. More cowboys. That's really fucking cool. That's ridiculous. This guy here with his guns, and then a drawing of the gun there, bent around, and he's on his horse, and the horse is having a fucking wild time, and then there's this horse here and this horse there and another one here and the cowboy flying up there. That's ridiculous. And that's one drawing that he did in, probably an afternoon, if that, in a couple of hours. It looks like it's done in ballpoint as well, which is quite cool. I appreciate that. Of course, we appreciate some ballpoints. Star Wars, wow! I really don't care about Star Wars. I'm not going to rant about it, but it's just whatever. These various commissions. I saw him doing some of these live on YouTube. They're very cool. The Death Dealer one is cool. Now this is quite almost a funny thing where, there are certain characters he doesn't really know about. He doesn't know everything. He's good at drawing, but he doesn't know everything. And so someone commissioned him to draw a Death Dealer piece, and he wasn't really. I remember because I watched the recording of the stream of him drawing this one. He wasn't really aware of Death Dealer too much. He'd probably seen it, but didn't really know much of it outside of having seen the Frazetta piece. So, he saw the Death Dealer image and drew that, and then everything else is sort of just made up, because this isn't necessarily a situation Death Dealer's been in with, like, slaves and zombies and like a zombie dog or something going on and weird shit. So he added this all in because it does fit the vibe, but it's not necessarily something you can directly attribute to Death Dealer. But I like that. I've had to do commissions like that where I get given, or asked to do a character I know nothing about, and I've got to just sort of Google image the characters and then make up the rest of it. It's all fun and games. Jesus Christ, the boats. Like, drawing a boat, sure, but then all the fucking stuff. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous! Oh, there's volume on this. I'll turn that off. I'm not going to go back because fuck it. Yellow and orange, the little additions in there. I mean, come on. Fuck. See, because sometimes, again, to talk about myself, it's my fucking podcast, I'll talk about myself. If I do a particularly detailed or well done piece of artwork, people might ask, how do you even start? Where do you even start doing that? And as I'm the one who's done it, I go, it's simple. You just start here, and I've seen him doing these drawings where I know he starts with one character and then builds outwards from there, it makes completely sense. But that doesn't stop me looking at this going how do you even start drawing something like that? It's bananas. It's fucking bananas, and there's more of them. And this is impressive because when he's drawing things like this, he doesn't mark out the 2020. He doesn't outline the 2020 to make sure, right, I'll leave this in the middle and then draw around it. He draws this bit and then this bit and then this bit, and as he gets towards the centre, he just leaves gaps that make up the 2020, which is just insane that you could do that. And I guess same with the peace sign and same with the 70 and the 100, whatever the fuck these are all for. And the foreign writing. Whee! More funny little cartoony drawings. And that's, you know enough about anatomy to be able to just bend it and make it look funny and silly, but completely believable at the same time. Weird mech things and and I mean I can only his books are so expensive, it's so hard to get hold of. I don't think I'll ever own any I can't see myself ever owning any. I like these like slice of life drawings. They're quite cool. It's the sort of stuff that I don't draw because I find it boring as fuck to sit and draw this sort of stuff. But when I see other artists do it well, it's really cool to look at. I do, of course, see a lot of artists do it in a way that bores me and makes me it sort of confirms the fact that I find it boring. But yeah, I'm at least glad I can look through a video of his book, knowing that, you know, sadly, it's very likely I will never be able to actually hold a copy. It's quite cool that he's thrown loads of little drawings in here, probably done on like just offcuts of scraps of paper and napkins and whatever. He's funny sumo guys. Oh, he's the sumo guy with glasses on his tits. That's quite funny. Cool dragon. Fucking cool. I mean, I may as well just sit here and go, look. Just look through it. I'll pause it here because there's... I like the mix of drawings. The heads are cool. The cartoony tiger. Fuck you! Yeah, it's just... It's annoying. It's annoyingly good. Slugs in spacesuits. Oh, that gives me an idea for a commission I need to do, actually. I might have to steal some of this. But yeah, like, seeing it almost exclusively with Kim Jung-gi and maybe one or two other artists, when I look at their stuff like this, there's equal parts. It makes me want to draw, but also makes me want to give up and never draw ever again because, you know, how can I hope? I love this. It's obviously done with like markers or something, like Copic markers, and almost photorealistic, like depiction of a butcher scene. And I love that it's right next to just funny, like cartoon bike riding animals. Animals in cars, gangster mob animals in cars, driving and stealing shit. It's funny. Naked women's. Gorgeously done. Like, the drawing's like cool enough and the shapes are really nice and pretty, but then the lighting done with the markers, like he's put blinds in the background with marker pens, and then the shadow of the blinds on the front there, and then the shadowing there and the spine and stuff, that's all done with markers, so it looks like a bit more faded into the background. Just really, really fucking nice. Some horses and shit, a whole bunch of shit. Just... I mean, I'm almost speechless. It's beyond words. There's really so little I can say past, like, oh, isn't he fucking good? A quick note to say, apparently, on the day I was filming this, it just happened to be the 1 year anniversary of Kim Jung-gi fucking dying. So that's cool. It's almost like it was planned, like I was the one that killed him and I made the video on his death anniversary on purpose. But anyway, R.I.P. to that fucking guy. See, it says Guy, but it's like it says Guy if you pronounce it wrong. And if you... Yeah, like I said, looking at Kim Jung-gi stuff, it makes me want to draw. I look at his stuff and I go, fuck, oh god, I gotta draw. Because it gives me loads of ideas to steal. So I just want to sit and make all this shit, but then I sit down and I go, I draw a funny person, and then it just looks like garbage, and I'm just like, oh, fucking hell. Why do I even try? Why even bother? And of course, I'm sure a lot of people will think that when they see my drawings. But that's something you have to get over as an artist. I have found in my life. that I do have to get over that fact of like, yeah, you're not going to reach the level of the people you look up to. So you've got to let them, you've got to be inspired to create by them, but not try to emulate what they do. So you've got to try and make your own shit. And in this case, I'm trying to make a fucking picture of Vast Air and MF Doom. Do I have MF Doom in the front? Because if so, I'm trying to pass out PARSE to pass out, to pass. No, I don't want to look on images for the word pass. To divide a sentence into grammatical parts and identify the parts. A syntactical relationship. To pass, to describe a word grammatically by stating the parts. No, sorry, okay, that's not the right word. I'm trying to figure out the arrangement of parts to turn it into an image. And I think it may be better to have Doom in front because he's the more... But then maybe it's too obvious to have Doom in front. This is Doom's mask. With his hood and his big puffy vest. Going... Yeah. Hitting a cop with a judo chop. And then Vast Air here doing similar choppy things. And then a cop and a cop. And then we hit cops with judo chops. I think that's maybe the only, not the only way to lay it out, but like one of the guys here going hiya, and then a cop going boo. Doosh. And then the other one up here going pia, and the cop being like folded in half. That's clear. It's clear what's going on there, isn't it? It's perfect. You can tell exactly what's happening. It's fucking. What is this? This arrow arm that I'm drawing. I mean, you can sort of see what's going on there. So that's supposed to be the hand here. The thumb would be there, and then the fingers almost coming towards a point, and then the wrist and the elbow. Like that. See, now it makes sense. Doom. But of course he'll be wearing a hooded jacket. But of course, one of the more difficult things to draw in general is the interaction of one body with another. And so figuring out the layout of like where the bodies should be on the page is one thing, but then trying to not necessarily realistically, but I guess believably put the bodies in such a way that the hands interacting with the police looks good. It's got to look good. If it doesn't look good, what's the fucking point of doing it? Piece of shit garbage. Fuck. Hand here. See his arms like flailing upwards. Ooh. This hat and then a hat here. The hat's flying off as they're getting fucking murked. I like that. I like having his feet up here, his legs like this. His other foot there, so he's sort of off the ground, and his head's being caved in or pushed into his fucking torso with his eyes here, like, oh shit. His arms up there. And his gun flying off because he's not going to need that anymore. That's how you used to draw guns when you were a kid. You draw it like that. And you go, there's a thing here, and there's the trigger here, and there's the barrel there, and you go, poof, 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 poof. And that's basically how I still draw guns today. Ha 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 ha. I've taken some caffeine, maybe not as much as I normally do. I try to keep my energy up. I was thinking, see, because when I was with Sam, he gave me some melatonin gummies. He has a whole fucking jar of these melatonin gummies. I was going to say they're kind of tasty. They're tasty-ish, but like that's not the point. The point is that melatonin is basically not quite a herbal thing, but like one of those sorts of things. It's like a remedy type thing to help you get to sleep, and they seem to work because I don't sleep well. I have difficulty falling asleep, and when I do fall asleep, I am an incredibly light sleeper. I wake up to the slightest sound or movement or whatever. It's very frustrating. And it's always been the case. It just sort of is what it is. It's just I just fucking my body and brain fucking hate me, and so they make me not sleep properly. So some of these melatonin gummies, and they seem to work. I took a few, while I was at Sam's. He suggested, he was like, "Hey, try these and see if they help you sleep." So I did, and they did seem to work. And then he was like, just take them, fucking have them, because I can order more or whatever. So that was very kind of him, so I did, I took them. And I was thinking, it might be funny, it might not be, it might be really, really unfunny. But it might be funny to, like, instead of taking caffeine before I record a podcast, take some melatonin, and then record a podcast while I'm trying to fight off falling asleep. Oh yeah, that'd be hilarious, Ewan. I mean, it might be, because I might be here like this, like, fuck. Like, desperately trying to stay awake and trying to draw, and, like... They don't work, they're not that strong that I'm just going to literally be sat here, like, going... Oh, fuck. Oh, where am I? What's happening? But, they help you sleep, so maybe I'll fall asleep. I can't even draw someone doing a judo chop now. If nothing else, I need something for the thumbnail. What am I going to put in the fucking... I guess I could put Kim Jung-gi in the thumbnail. Maybe that'll get this particular episode lots and lots of views. If I put Kim Jung-gi in the thumbnail, and then people will be like, oh, it's a Kim Jung-gi video. But then the Kim Jung-gi part of the video is literally just lifted from their YouTube channel. So... There's really nothing it's not like I'm showing new, previously unreleased gi videos, is it? I think in my head, I've got Kim Jung-gi's like funny little characters in my head. So I'm like, I want to draw like MF Doom, like that, like give him a funny little body, like this. But that's not very sort of like filled with energy, is it? Maybe that's better. I could really try to emphasize the puffiness of his vest. And then, see, you know, I'm not Jungi. I can't. Well, see, I sit here going, oh, I can't draw it quite as I can't go in straight with the ballpoint pen and then draw. And then I go, well, you know, I probably could. But then I clearly, well, I don't. I don't do that. At the very least, I need like blocks. You know, I need like this much. Like I need an amogus of the basic piece, and then from there I can go like, right, so there'll be a hand here, and you know I can draw fingers, a thumb, and the rest of it. But I need the basic makeup of the body to draw on top of. I need the skeleton, the foundation upon which to build. This actually reminds me. I had an idea. I thought it would be cool to do like a load of concept art for a roleplay game that would never exist. The point wouldn't be, oh, like my card game, someday I'll make a real game of this. It'll actually exist someday and you can play it. The point will be just a whole bunch of like, you know, really decently made concept work for this game that would never actually be a game. It's just a bunch of cool artwork for the sake of it being a bunch of cool artwork. But then, you know, you can have like rules and stats and the thing and the thing and the thing. The only real reason I thought of that was I think I was playing Skyrim and I just thought it would be cool if you have all these different races and crazy like beast races and animal races of different characters, and then the humans are just like a grey bipedal thing. So they literally like the human characters in this game are like this. You know, you can make them like fatter and thinner and taller and shorter, but in essence they're this, and they're just grey, like one tone of grey, and their face is literally like that. And then all the other characters are immensely like detailed and colourful. Like I thought you could have bird creature people with like plumage and stuff, and because there's so many different types of birds, you could have all these different bird races. Like crow and raven people could be all like sly and sneaky, and then you could have grand fucking parrot people with like colourful crazy feathers and wings and all these weapons and armour that fit with that. You know, lizard and snake people and cat people, all different kinds of big fluffy cat people, you know, skinny, hairless, lithe cat people. Orcs, really like big, gnarly, grimy orcs and sneaky snivelling little goblins running around. All these cool, crazy characters. And then you've got the humans, which is literally just this grey shape of like, oh, I'm a human. Just to emphasise just how fucking like bleh humans are. I just thought that'd be funny. That would be, and the entire premise of hey, I could do a whole bunch of concept art for a game that would never exist. All of that idea came from the humans would be the dullest, most basic, boring things you've ever seen, and they'd be in this world surrounded by fantastical creatures and otherworldly beings and stuff. I just thought that'd be funny. it's not necessarily actually funny, but I thought it could be. I've gotten better at drawing eyes recently. I think that was one of the things I was always a little bit worried about drawing when it came to like comics and stuff, because I was like always like, well, I know an eye is like this, and then you give it like lashes, and you like a pupil, and it's like, yeah, you draw eyes on people, but then if you're drawing a human face and you draw the eyes wrong, you can fuck it up. But now I've really sort of gotten like, I draw my eyes almost more like squares. And then yeah, you sort of add a bit more lash if it's what would typically be considered a bit more feminine, and then a little bit of like shadow underneath, and then a pupil and whatever, like. And if this one's sort of more facing this way, then the lash comes out a bit differently. But yeah, I've found that I've been improving my eyes. See, those look like pretty good fucking eyes. They're not perfect, but they were drawn in 2 seconds. I think they're pretty good. And you do a mouth. It's a funny mouth. It didn't fart out of the mouth. Like it's snot hanging out your nose. Oh, you fucking Hitler mustache. So that would be my my role-playing game, which isn't. I mean, I did see in Mega City Comics. I have not seen it there when I've been able to get a copy, but apparently it sells out quite quick when they do have it in. There's a book of art for like this dark like RPG game that doesn't exist, which is where I stole the idea from basically. And it looks really, really cool. Like all the artwork and stuff in this book looks amazing. And it's like, I mean, it's literally that. It's for a game that doesn't exist, but it's like it exists, but it doesn't exist. So I'm obviously just stealing that idea, but it'd be cool. I mean, it would look cool. It'd be a decent sort of portfolio piece of like fantasy art that I could take to places and be like, look, I draw fantasy art. Give me some fucking money, you cunt. Well, that said, I don't know if you saw, you probably did, it's been up. Oh, look at that. Wow. I mentioned this in a recent episode that I planned to, because I showed the sketchbook with the original drawing of my funny 2-headed little goblin guy, and I was like, oh, I'm going to redraw it and like paint it and look really, really cool. And I mentioned that it would probably make like a cool Magic the Gathering card if I get like the proportions of the framing of the artwork right. And I did, and it's in a different video. So you've seen the video. It's the video of me painting this and talking about it. And I've probably posted it on Instagram. The actual Magic card that I made on a website that lets you make your own Magic cards. Well, it doesn't let you make them, but you can mock them up or whatever. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. I really like the piece. I think it's really good. I'm happy with the foliage, the leaves and shit around it, and it's I'm not saying it should be enough to get me work doing Magic the Gathering cards, because the artwork on Magic cards is like top tier, like fantasy art, really. Most of it, anyway. But I just it's got to be someone out there that can like look at my art and go, do you know what? Let's give this guy a chance. His artwork's pretty good. He's got a good following. He's a good sense of humour about all his stuff or whatever. Let's give him a go. Let's let him design one card, and if it's shit, we just won't fucking print it. And if it's good, then we've got a fucking good card to print. So, I put it for all the good it won't do. I mean, Twitter's just a fuck now. I just hit 5,000 followers on Twitter, and I was like looking forward to like, oh hey, soon I'm going to hit 5,000 followers on Twitter. That's kind of cool. But then, I mean, during that time, Twitter has just fucking shit the bed because of Mr. fucking idiot Musk. And so it's kind of like not really bittersweet, but now the whole fact of like, oh, I just hit 5,000 followers on Twitter is so like, I don't even care about it now. I have Twitter, but I don't really use it. I just sort of post drawings there sometimes that I've already posted on Instagram, and it's just fucking whatever. But I posted that painting of the double goblin on Twitter, and I tagged Wizards Magic the Gathering. I think it's Wizards of the Coast that own it or whatever. And I was like, hey, hire me to make Magic cards. And thinking like, oh, what if they see it and they like it and they're like, oh, do you know what? Let's hire him to make Magic. I can dream. As I've said, I try not to, because you just get disappointed. If you have dreams, you just get disappointed because they never work out. So that's why you should never dream. That arm went to shit, didn't it? Maybe this one will be better. Fuck it. Oh, that'd do. Oh, and another note. I drew this after the podcast because I didn't have anything good for the thumbnail. And that's what's important. You gotta have a good fucking thumbnail. So I drew that, and that's. I didn't record it because why would I?